Hello and welcome to the Sports Bench with Greg and friends. Tonight we're going to talk about the Kansas City Chiefs, specifically the day after the Kansas City Chiefs played the Buffalo Bills at Highmark Stadium in Buffalo, New York. An interesting game as the Chiefs were playing, coming in as the number one rated offense in the league, and their defense playing really well. I was expecting the game to go differently, but it did not. Josh Allen and the Buffalo Bills played a very good game. They had a good scheme going on. They weren't allowing the Chiefs to be able to switch defensively by going to a non-huddle and speeding the game up, so it made it difficult for the Chiefs to correct themselves on defense. But the biggest thing I noticed in this game, the Chiefs still had the weapons. They had Rashid Rice, and early in the game, they marched right down and got a touchdown the first possession. They were hitting all those numbers. But then what started happening is the offensive line started breaking down for the Chiefs. And this has been a sore point for me, talking about the Chiefs in the offseason. I made a couple of videos talking about what Veach needed to do to be able to improve this team. And one of the things that was needed badly was improving their offensive line, specifically both tackles. Left and right tackles needed to be improved. So they signed a super sub with from the 49ers and Jalen Moore. And Jalen Moore's performance during the Chiefs game against Buffalo was very subpar. He was allowing Bosa to be able to run past him and be able to maneuver. And, Bosa is a really good edge rusher. He's one of the best in the league, if not the best in the league. And basically any left tackle, no matter who it would be, would have problems trying to block him. But still, they could have done a better job. And so all game long, the Chiefs were basically battling a normal rush. The Bills didn't even blitz that often. It was their regular defensive players on the defensive line that were able to get Mahomes and rush him or tackle him. And it was, we're going back to last year and the year before. Offensive tackle position has been a question mark for the Chiefs for years. Last year, when the Eagles played them in the Super Bowl, they just blitzed the heck out of them, and basically, actually, they didn't really blitz them. Their defensive line got to Mahomes. He had no time to be able to scan the field, be able to make throws to his super receivers, and they ended up losing the Super Bowl. Well, Buffalo was basically a prime example this Sunday. Same thing, all right, except it's not as explosive. But, they didn't score 40 points, but Buffalo still won the game. The offensive line needs to be improved. It's the number one thing still that needs to be done. And the Chiefs are going to have to dig deep into their pockets and into their brain trust to figure out how to improve this line during their bye week. I mean, right now, not wait, and try to figure something else later on. If they're going to make the playoffs now, they're in question now of not even making the playoffs. If playoffs started today, they would not qualify. So, they're already at 4 losses. That's more loss they've had in a long time, and they've got to improve this. Brett Veach has to get on the phone. He's got to be willing to dig down and be able to offer something so they can get offensive tackles. They need a good left offensive tackle. Josh Simmons has been gone now for about 3 weeks. I understand that he's just come back into camp, so they're going into a bye week, so he'll probably be in the next game. But what happens if this happens again? What happens if Josh Simmons gets injured and you put Jalen Moore over there? He is a sub. He's a swing tackle. He's not a permanent starter to me. So you're going to have this problem going in the rest of the year. And if you have more losses, I guess you won't have to worry about it because you're not getting into the playoffs anyway. So my suggestion is that you've got to look on the defensive side of the ball where you have some defensive talent that you could offer up on a trade to be able to get an established, good, not necessarily all-star, but good left or right tackle, or if not both. And you're going to have to kind of dig down and kind of trade some talented players. So let's talk about it. Well, who could they offer? Well, Trent McDuffie is one. He's an all-pro. He's one of the best corners in the league. A lot of teams would like to have him. The Chiefs have a lot of young talent in the defensive backfield, so they probably could get somebody that could play that position decently. The other one I know, and this is going to alarm a lot of people, is Chris Jones. Chris Jones is getting plus 30 now, 31 years old, and he hasn't had good seasons, in my opinion, for about 2 years. Now, he did play well last year, but not to standards. This year, I think he's slowing down a little bit more. So they signed him to a massive contract. He's got a couple of years left. But if you were to offer up here at the deadline, Chris Jones, I'm sure you could probably get some good offensive tackles to take care of the immediate problem. Get some depth, because it doesn't matter if you have great receivers to throw to. It doesn't matter whether you have great running backs to run. The offensive line is not working together well, and you have injuries. You have patchwork injuries. People coming in and filling these positions. It's not great. It's not a good situation to be going into. So I would think about, if you really want to make the playoffs, you're going to need to make, Brett Veach, you're going to need to make a decision here quickly as far as what to do. To me, getting an offensive tackle, a good one, is one of your main priorities. Not running back, not help on the defensive line. You've got players and you've got depth there. Okay, not a great depth, but you got depth there. You don't have depth on the offensive line. Let's get this fixed now. That's the only way that the Chiefs are going to improve. You are subjecting your quarterback, the best quarterback in the league, the best at reading defenses, and when he's protected, he can just destroy other teams. You are suffering him, making him suffer and possibly get injured because he's not being protected. Let's get this into gear. Let's put this in the brain, in the front part of the brain. This is important. Let's get something done. And that's my video for tonight. Again, thank you for watching. If you liked my video, please like. If you like, subscribe. That would be wonderful. You guys have a great night. I will talk to you the next time. Bye-bye.